Hey there, Aries fam. So one of the reasons why I tend to film these at night is because it tends to be quiet. The flight path above me has calmed down, the traffic has calmed down, the neighborhood has calmed down. And I just began filming and suddenly there's a plane going on overhead. Where are we going to next? You know, for the rest of the signs this month for June of 2025, cards would go flying while I was shuffling, and that didn't happen this time. I feel very much so like, nope, you're going to cut the deck, you're going to do your thing, and there we go. There's the story. So, all right, Aries, let's get to it. It's so like matter of fact, like, nope, there's a time and place for everything. Everything in its place. So I like to cut the deck in three, pull the middle to the top. Here's chapter one, fam. How you doing? You're apparently a bit burnt out. So, nervous laughed, yes. Do you have difficulty saying no? Maybe not. I don't feel quite like people-pleasing energy. I just feel like I can help. You know what I mean? Or there's just like getting it while the getting's hot or whatever. Maybe you're trying to save up. Maybe you're just trying to reach a point. Maybe you just started a business and you're really trying to push it so that you're making profit, but you're burned out. You are very tired. And you need to remember that when it comes to tens, that's the end of a cycle. They're almost there. They're almost home. And just bringing in that harvest, right? You're almost done. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to pull from the dregs. What came to mind, you know what I mean? Like you may feel like your reserves are tapped out, and they're not. You're very conscious, you're very aware of what's going on in the material realm right now. There's a system, a process going on. What's chapter 2? The Emperor. There we go. There's your fire. There's your Aries card represented. So I feel like people oftentimes tend to, with the Empress, mention how she's like a magnet. You know what I mean? It's the law of attraction embodied. You know, she's just sitting back cozy. She doesn't have to do shit because she's a magnet drawing it in, right? And I mean, he's just vibing on his throne, isn't he? The difference between the two, because of that masculine and feminine type energy, right, is he's got that armor on underneath. Anything comes up, I like to kind of think of these two, the Emperor and the Four of Swords, right? He doesn't need to be a part of the battle anymore. If there is a battle, I don't think anybody has any business messing with this dude and his kingdom, though. I'm just going to throw that out there. But if he needs to, he knows how to handle things accordingly. Otherwise, he may be a leader, but he's one who knows how to delegate. He knows, a phrase that keeps coming to me this month is working smarter, not harder. Right? So maybe you're trying to do too much, and what you need to do is embrace that Emperor thing. Like, you're still getting things done, but maybe there are people who can help. There are people who can do their freaking part. Does that resonate with anyone? Right? What's chapter 3? The Seven of Swords. So this can speak of things like betrayal, cheating, some shady business. This can also be you being a bit shady, being strategic, right? Honestly, I feel like it kind of gets a bad rep because, like, it's broad daylight. You know what I mean? Like, what is this person hiding? They're hiding jack and shit. That's what they're hiding, right? They're leaving these two swords behind. I like to kind of compare it to the Five of Swords, where it's like, you know what? All this crap, I don't even care anymore. You can keep your two swords. You keep that to yourself. I'm going to take all this wisdom from dealing with people like you, and I'm going to move on now. Deuces, you know what I mean? Just and moving the frig on. What's coming up after the Seven of Swords is the Ace of Wands. That fiery passion. We have a lot of fire and one air. Stoking those flames, maybe. That air card coming up right before the Ace of Wands. Hey, that's right. Get it going, Aries. Underneath, so that I do like a row of 4, and then underneath it, I do another row of 4. Coming up underneath the 10 of Wands is the Queen of Swords. I like to say, it's another swords, fam. I like to say that the Queen and the King of Swords are really good at friendly debate. They don't get all emotional and take things personal, you know what I mean? This is, you know, the swords are the mind and they're air. It's logic. It's truth, right? What I'm curious about is what's coming up after her. What's coming up under the Emperor, because she's one of those royals who's kind of like, yes, you know what I mean? Like she's called upon someone. I sent you out. What do you have to tell me, right? Or she's like pointing to something. So what's coming up under the Emperor? The Hierophant. Another thing about the royals is they've been through everything in their suit. You know, so like the King and Queen of Cups, emotions, they have that emotional intelligence and maturity, right? So the Queen and King of Swords, that's logic, mental clarity. You know what I mean? They see through the bullshit and embrace the truth, right? And she's coming up underneath the 10 of Wands. So you know that whatever you're working on is true. It's the real deal. It matters to you. You have the clarity now. You have the perseverance, right? And you have a lot of wisdom that you can share with others. I mean, maybe it's, you know, institutional in a sense of religion and such, you know. But it kind of goes hand in hand with the High Priestess, right? Masculine, feminine energy. But there are those who really, whether you realize it or not, look up to you. They respect you. You aren't fucking around, you know what I mean? You may be really freaking blunt at times, but that's part of what they respect you for, because it's not like you're trying to be offensive and disrespectful. You're not going to sugarcoat to spare feelings. You're not going to tell white lies. You're going to be honest and true and steadfast. You know that you don't need a fight. It's like there's all this passion, this fiery passion going on, but there's also like, I'm feeling like stoicism to it, right? We're not that youth running around unable to hold ourselves accountable anymore. You know what's up. You've learned so much, and you've got a really freaking good head on your shoulders. There's a lot of wisdom going on here. The freaking Emperor and the Hierophant, boom, boom, stacked together, 4, 5, in freaking order. Are you kidding me right now? We have numbers numbering. Let's keep an eye out. So underneath the 7 of Swords, this is really freaking interesting, Aries. I feel like this confirms what I was saying about the 7 of Swords. Moving away from the negativity, the toxicity, the people that you can't trust, and into the emotional fulfillment of the 10 of Cups. My, that is such a more pleasant 10. Aw, fam, this is what all of your hard work is for, isn't it? Being able to care and enjoy life without having to sacrifice yourself on double-edged swords all day long, without having, you know, maybe it's not so much working in a competitive environment as it is like, you know, being a performer, you know, and things being super competitive in a sense of you better have your head on a swivel because you are swimming with sharks and they will swiggity swooty that ass while you're going up the stairs, you know? Getting away from that kind of crap where you have to be so concerned and mind your P's and Q's and make sure everything's okay, to just being able to relax and help others who are trying to navigate the crap you've made it through and you've come out the other side, right? And underneath that beautiful Ace of Wands, the new beginning, these like, look at that imagery. Look at that imagery. That is a gift from the divine. Whatever that may look like or be like for you. It's like something, it may catch you by surprise, but it's like, it's not only a new beginning, it's now that you've reached this point, here you go. You know what I mean? So what's coming up underneath that Ace of Wands? And there's a tap out in the living room. I have my door open. Might be the cats playing, to be fair, for full transparency. It is the middle of the night, yes. No more planes, though. Fam, underneath the wands, look, is the freaking Ace of Pentacles. Do you think they're trying to make a point? Wow. So, fam, the question is, do you accept? Because to me, it looks like you're letting it go. You're letting it go. You're working through it. You're processing and working through and healing from trauma, from, you know, you're learning how to trust again, whether it's yourself or other people. Like, it just, I feel like this point in the journey, in the transformative season that we've all been going through, and especially the past, like, recent months, but maybe even the last year or two, this portion has really been about trust. Whenever the heck y'all were born, you know what I mean? And being able to trust yourself, trust the flow of life, right? Except with you, because we have this Queen of Swords, so it's logic, it's the mind, being able to remain stoic and steadfast. Like, you've come out the other side. Again, just keeps going through my mind. The caboose at the end of this tale, the epilogue, right, is the Seven of Cups. So I mentioned flow. There we go. There's the cups. That keeps happening this month where I'll mention something and boop, there it is. The Seven of Cups, like, this person is in shadow. It's just a silhouette. They're kind of in the dark. They're like, there's so many ideas. There's so many options. What do I do? How do I know which daydream, which fantasy, which of my desires, whatever the heck it is that you really want to do that inspires you, that there's just so many things. Like, how do you know what's the right one for you? What is the dream that you should pull out of the ether and manifest into reality in this material plane? What is worthy of the time, because you don't want to fail, you don't want to fuck up, whatever the heck. You don't want to waste your dang energy, you know? I feel like... what's the bottom of the deck? Okay. So the bottom of the deck vibe for me is like the main gist of the story, right? Like, we get these particular cards, but the main vibe is the bottom of the deck. And you got the Four of Cups for that. There's that, like, I like to refer to as like hyper focus, but it's also like, I do ABC. Where's my XYZ? Where is it? What's going on? You know, and you get that apathy going where it's like, well, you know, I did these things and it didn't work out the way I wanted. So what the fuck? Why should I waste my energy anymore? I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to look at these things and expect them to turn into ducks. So even they can be in a row because apparently I didn't do it. You know, like, just getting frustrated in a way, right? But there's gifts from, like, it's like, if you're so hyper focused on particulars, if you're so worried about what's going on and whether it's right and whether, you know, it's what you should be doing and focusing on, that you're forgetting to leave that elbow room. You know what I mean? Like, do what you know. Like, we can only do what we know that we can do, right? The facts as we know them, right? Why isn't that enough, though? For someone, that's just not enough. And maybe it's because you're used to do. I figure it out. I get it laid out. I do. Sorry. You knew, listen, this is YouTube. Let's, come on. You know what's right for you. With this sword action going on and the Hierophant, that is wisdom. That is mysticism and trusting yourself. Pentacles are the earth. That is this material realm. That is like daily progress, daily work. Instead of driving yourself crazy with literal blood, sweat, and tears, being able to just make your progress, do your work, and saving that extra energy that you could have used for stress and overburdening yourself, being unable to say, no, I can't do that right now, you know, and placing and respecting your own boundaries, right? These are new seeds planted, new ideas, creativity, right? And with the wands, which is passion and creativity, right? Served on a golden platter is what I like to say with the pentacles. They're earth. It's whatever you're focused on, wherever your drive is, whatever you need courage for, right? There's someone's like second guessing themselves, and you're being reminded, like, no. Will you let's look at these dang cards. If those freaking double aces and the 10 of cups weren't enough, what about these, friends? What about these cards? Huh? Who are they representing? You? You know what I mean? Like, be nice to yourself, okay? I'm not saying you're torturing yourself, but just, you know, fam, follow that instincts. What is it that's pulling at you? What is it that you can do now that maybe you couldn't do before, but now that you've got that wisdom, now it's kind of obvious. And if you don't know yet, it's coming. It's coming. Because the 10s, you got 2 10s, fam. 2 10s. 2 10s and 2 7s. And 2 4s. Alrighty then. You just need to believe. You need to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith. You need to figure out what that means for you, fam. Because you got a lot you have cycles ending, and you just need to trust yourself, because new cycles, like maybe it's one of those circumstances where it just overlaps and it's such a smooth transition. Maybe the smoothest for you, fam. Maybe the smoothest. Oh, fam. Follow through. Trust. You know what I mean? Like, if something's triggering you, if you're like, whoa, this seems too good to be true, first of all, why make that assumption? Second of all, what is it that's too good to be true? Make sure you're not just instantly shutting yourself off because you're too busy being apathetic and confused and concerned. Like, is this when I need to get up and fight, you know, and utilize this armor? Notice that he doesn't have a sword. He has a scepter, right? But this is what's underneath. You don't need a battle anymore. Share your wisdom. Share your wisdom, fam. Hey! Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate the company. And you always remember that either way, I believe in you.